You're listening to 91 Reasons, a journey into the twisted landscape of pop culture. Keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. And now, the voice, Jeff Tucker.
I grew up getting high.
So, what was your relationship like with Berg? Yeah, look at that's the longest pause of the show right there.
It was.
You wanted to beat the guy up from day one. You can say it.
Yeah, I did. I didn't like my mom being treated that way.
Right, and here's the thing.
And I didn't like my brother and sister being treated that way. You made a comment that I was the bully, but in the background, you guys never knew how much I watched over you two.
Oh yeah, no,
I had
we weren't
all
aware
over
of that.
freaking town that you guys were never going to get into a situation. Even when I was on vacation, there was people. With tabs on you.
You're the guy that said, if you ever want to get high, come to me.
Exactly.
Don't buy it. Don't go to a party.
Junk out the street.
Yeah.
You're going to get something.
And between you and Mom, I had the recreational drugs and the pharmaceuticals taken care of.
And I always got Mom all her pharmaceuticals anyway.
Do you remember that jar of cross-tops she had?
She had more than one. There was 1,000 of them.
1,000?
I used to get them for $20. $1,000.
She used to want... Your eBay's going off. She used to want to give me those for conventions, and I go, Ma, that's not me.
There you go.
Oh, nice. Just made $90.
Yeah.
Wait, let me check my eBay. No, I didn't sell anything. I have a guy asking where his package is, and I'm like, check the tracking. It's got nothing to do with me. So, Berg, right? Did you ever come to blows with the guy? Because it only happened one time with me at the beach house. Yeah.
At the beach house. Gabe pulled me off of it.
But that's 10 years later.
That's 10 years later.
We dealt with this guy 10 years before the gloves came off, finally.
And I had it.
We'd all had it by that time.
I had it with the disrespect and treating my mom like dirt.
Yeah.
Even though
she asked for it.
In the long run, she asked for it because she pushes buttons all the time.
Of course.
She'd be happy when he leave to Elsinore or Wildemar, wherever the hell it's at. But she'd be sad when he was gone.
Yeah, I didn't understand any of it.
And I don't remember, we were on the front porch, and Gabe pulled me off of him.
Yeah.
I was ready to...
I wish I could have seen a Duke out.
I was ready.
Here's the problem, though. He was made of stone.
Yeah, he was a strong old man.
He was made of stone, that guy.
But I grew up on the streets, and I wasn't afraid of shit.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I got myself in situations that I'm lucky to be alive. God is my witness, but... That's a whole nother story.
When we went and saw him, it was shocking. Like, oh, he's just a weak little old man now. You know, if I wanted to hurt him, it would be fairly easy.
Yeah, but that's not you.
Oh, God, no. And people were like, you didn't want to go, no, it's not you. You're not listening if that's what you think was going to happen. I only want to talk to people. I'm not the Duke Rooney guy. I'm not that guy.
I was the problem child.
So
I was the black sheep.
So, okay, you're talking about 10 years after the fact. You were around for... all the chaos with this guy, the time he left her at the AM/PM in Colorado, and the constant they'd go to parties and she'd have to put food in a baggie for him.
She'd always be taking him food home because he'd never go.
Right?
No, he'd never get dressed up. He'd never shower. He'd never bathe. He'd
just sit there.
He'd sit there and create havoc for people.
He's the one who thrived on. He was like Lex Luthor. Like, he just wanted everybody to fight around him and with him and about him. And
he was the Joker.
It just became
without the jokes, without the comedy.
And it just became exhausting. Like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Frustrating.
I want to get a girlfriend and I want to get the hell out because I don't want to be here anymore. You know, it's one of those. It's like, imagine at age 17 or 18 looking forward to going to work.
I couldn't say that because I skated all my life.
Yeah, well,
I had jobs I really loved, but I was always looking for the quick fix,
you're
the
like
easy way out.
You ever seen Parenthood?
Yeah.
You're Tom Hulce.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've got this little platinum mine down in South Africa.
I got this plan.
So, at some point, And what I talked about earlier in the show is I called you a what was the word I used? I said you were a you were arrested for selling drugs.
Oh, you called me a small time
drug dealer. To which you called me up angry and said I was arrested for trafficking
and distribution. This sergeant that arrested me made lieutenant after arresting me.
How did they decide you're the guy?
My best friend was ratting on me.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Who ratted on you?
Do you want me to say?
No.
Okay.
Somebody ratted on
you. You know him.
Okay. Tell me after the show. Okay. Somebody ratted on you.
The man lived with us for a while. I lived with him in Lakewood at his house. The cops showed up. They came for him. They didn't even come for me. I was nowhere on the radar.
You're not on the radar.
I never had traffic coming anywhere because I was mobile. I had an answering machine in your room at Mom's house with a phone number, remember?
Yes.
It never rang, but it had messages all the time, and I could go to a payphone, and I had this little machine.
I remember the little handheld.
And I could listen to my messages, and then I could call people back from a payphone and meet them or take it to them. And I had this 2 guys in the cars, bikers, that would follow me or go in front of me. They had the guns, so I never had drugs with guns. I never had any of it. I had a system.
At any point, Jim, does it just seem easier to get a job at Zodi's?
Yeah.
Right?
In hindsight, I should have. And I had a good job at Bechtel Power Corporation.
Because I tell people, you were the manager of Stryper.
Right.
The heavy metal Christian band for like 2 weeks.
For almost a month. And then I helped Unorthodox.
And
they should have made it.
They got big for a while.
They got huge. And we had Warner Brothers Records show up at Jezebel's in Anaheim. They announce, ladies and gentlemen, Unorthodox. And the drummer passes out. And I'm like talking to the guy, dude, this isn't normally what goes on. That band was on the verge of making it huge. And drugs derailed.
Well, that's what happens, right?
Mikey was you went to school with Mike. He was a hell of a guitar player. And Skip could sing. Now he's running a Christian choir.
I just discovered that a guy that I really like, there's a song called La Rêve, I think it's called. And it's by an artist who calls himself the Blaxican, right?
I've heard of him.
He went to Norwalk the same year as me. So I went to school with this guy.
There was another big band from Norwalk called Dark Angel. They never made it big here in America, but they were huge in Japan.
Dark Angel.
Yes.
Norwalk, man. We have to have something besides Tiffany.
You want to know my story about Norwalk? And I tell him every time I see him. Metallica is from Norwalk.
How? No, come on.
Lars Ulrich went to Downey High School.
Mm-hmm.
Liebacker Street over by Scott and Berg's house. The band was in a garage every night.
I had no idea.
They left and went to Frisco and got their break, but they were in Norwalk.
That's amazing. You could have been in on that.
I tell James Hatfield every time I saw him. I took you to see him, remember?
Yeah.
You got all those pics and everything. James came by. What are you doing here? Dude, he used to shop at Tony Jolly's dad's bike shop in Downey.
That's unbelievable.
And I tell him, I saw Lars and Kirk Hammett at Comic-Con, and I told Kirk, I'm sick of this San Francisco shit. It's not true.
At what point did they decide to sue all their fans? That was in the 2000s?
That was Lars. That was stupid. Stupidity.
That's not how you treat your fans.
No, and we grew up in a time where you could record the radio all day long.
Yeah, no problem.
Flop in a cassette.
I still have recordings somewhere of Casey Kasem in the top 40.
Oh, I loved Casey Kasem.
So you get on the radar, and this guy Massey decides...
Well, yeah, they came to this house in Lakewood. I'm there, and there's a quarter pound of cocaine on the scale. My safe's open. I'm in shorts, flip-flops, no shirt. There's a knock on the door, and it's a UPS driver. I have a delivery. I yell at somebody. He's sick in bed, and he says, "Oh, just sign the name on the package." So I sign it. To this day, I'll never forget. In slow motion, like, I'm gonna get you, Rabbit, Bugs Bunny, slow motion.
Yeah.
The UPS driver says, "Hang on, I have another package for you." And as he's turning around, I'm standing there, and all these cops swoop on the porch. Comes to be that there was a friend of the person I was living with that worked for UPS, and they were stealing guns, putting fake labels on and shipping them to this house. I never knew this. So all of a sudden, they're at me with guns drawn, and I'm like,
You have no idea what's
he's
happening.
asked for my ID, and I said, "One moment, sir. It's in the house." Safe's open. My mind's racing.
Yeah.
There's money everywhere. There's a lady in the house picking up a quarter pound of cocaine. What the hell do I do? And not only that, I had $140,000 cash rolled up in a brown paper bag because I was meeting Mom after this lady left to go buy a towing business and quit. I was done. I had arrived to the point where I could buy a business, launder this money, and not work full-time.
And this is 88, 89?
1988.
Okay.
February 1988. They come in, following me in, and I'm like, I turn around with my ID, and there's the cop.
Yeah.
Massive.
Oh yeah. They don't wait at the door.
They felt threatened that I was gonna shoot them or something.
They come right in.
Shorts and okay. So they handcuffed me, put me on the porch. All of a sudden, this big crate of drugs is put in my lap. Do you want to talk about it? I said, "Sir, I don't live here." I bail out. May of 1988. I'm in Bellflower at a friend's apartment that I rented, where I had the phone relay system going. So you'd call Bellflower, the phone would transfer to Downey, and then ring at Mom's house in your room with that answering machine. I rented the apartment in Bellflower, the apartment in Downey. So I'm at the apartment in Bellflower watching a Lakers game, playoffs, 1988, May. They're at the door again. Because my friend is ratting on me, telling him where I'm at.
All these carefully laid plans.
Right.
And it takes one guy to open his trap.
Exactly. But it's my own fault. I was one of those guys. I was in prison because of me.
Oh yeah, I know. You've always been. I mean, look how
shame on me.
Look how candid you're talking about it. You're not here sitting here going, "That son of a." You're going, "Hey, I did what I did.
I did what I did. And, I'm not proud of it, but I'm.
My friend
I
Trent
can't change it.
My friend Trent wrote a song where one of the lyrics is, "Now I'm the victim of a 502," and I go, Trent, drunk driving. You're the bad guy. You're not the victim.
Right. I drove drunk once in my life.
It just was funny the way the turn of the phrase there, right?
Yeah. So each time they'd arrest me with not just one drug, but several.
Okay.
I'm caught with 2 pounds of meth.
2 pounds.
Yes, not ounces. 16 ounces, 32 ounces of methamphetamine.
A big gulp worth of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of big gulp, that was how I used to deliver things. I'd walk in with a McDonald's cup and with the straw in it, and I'd leave the cup and leave the house.
And the drugs are in the cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, you could be a consultant on one of these TV
I could
shows.
help these people out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many of the McDonald's spoons did you have?
I had quite a few.
Remember the stir that they had to get rid of because people were using it for cocaine?
Yeah.
And the funny part is this, I used to use it because they were oars when my action figures would get into a ship, in a boat. Everybody else is... Now, you heard the story where I found the little
brown bottle.
The little brown bottle.
And you know who left that there? Kim.
And I was going to rub it on my teeth because that's how I saw it in the TV shows. And about halfway...
That's how Crockett and Tubbs done it in Miami Vice, right?
And about, they go, "That's been cut." And about halfway to my mouth, I went, "What the hell am I doing? I don't know what it's supposed to do. What if it kills me?" So I didn't...
It would have numbed your mouth.
Yeah, I don't need any of that. I don't need any of that.
It would have numbed it really good.
So what happens the second time?
Second time, I bail out again. I mean, he's telling me this and this, and I'm like, "I don't even live here, sir." Da-da-da-da-da, same spiel. I'm not talking. I'm not going to die. The people I dealt with at the time, I knew better.
Yeah.
I'm caught. Shame on me.
You snitch.
I'm dead.
You're dead. Yeah, okay.
I would have been erased. They wanted to erase the person that ratted on me. I said, "What's that going to solve? Let him worry the rest of his life."
Yeah. Wow. That's hardcore, man.
Yeah, it was hardcore stuff.
That's hardcore. But we're talking a significant amount of money.
I was making people lots of money.
Wow.
Yeah. I had a lot of money. And then I bailed out. I caught 3 cases in 5 months. 17 felony counts altogether.
17 felony counts.
Yeah, they were talking 49 years. And I'm sitting in court going, this guy just got sentenced for killing a family. He's a drunk driver and he got 4 years. And you're telling me 49 years? I killed nobody. What's wrong with this country?
Yeah.
It was
It was the war on drugs, man.
It
was the war on drugs. Because they had this idea that if they put you away and people like you, that the drug problem's suddenly going to go away. That if you shut the McDonald's down, people are not going to ever have a hamburger.
Taco.
Yeah, give me a break.
I mean, come on.
I love that logic.
I mean, they put a dent in Norwalk when I went away, but eventually someone picked up the slack, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, of course. Is there money to be made?
Yeah, there was a lot of money.
Then, of course, someone's going to pick up the slack.
I owned 3 or 4 cars. I had this, I had that all my life. I had a motorcycle. I had a moped at 14 selling drugs that Mom didn't even know about.
Wow.
I kept it at the Jolly's house.
Jeez.
And I'd go walk over there in the morning and drive it to school and drive around all the time without a license.
So, when did they decide to make the big arrest? The one that involved me.
June. See, I didn't even know that they had been there. You left the minute I get there. I gotta go. And I'm like,
they scared the bejesus out of me. I'm a straight A honor student, president of the drama club. I have nothing to do with. I don't even have clove cigarettes, man. And so they're going, your mom ain't home. You're gonna go down to juvie then if you're in a mom. And I'm like, me and juvie? I'll get killed. So I called Toby and I said, Toby, get me the hell out of here. And this newspaper machine that they think I've stolen, that's gonna go too. So I got the hell out. But then they came for you.
They came for me, and I was in the house. I had taken a shower. I had 2 pounds of meth in the car because I was dropping that off, and I was going to spend 4th of July weekend with my kids. No business, no drugs.
You're out.
I'm off. This is vacation time.
This is it. Okay.
Yeah. And there's a knock on the door, and it's Sergeant Massey and his team, and I'm quiet. I'm totally quiet. I'm smoking a joint. I took all my money, thousands of dollars, and shoved it in Jennifer's bathrobe and hung it in her closet because they kept taking my money.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't getting all turned in as evidence.
Of course it wasn't. Of course.
So, I'm in the house. The house is completely locked. We don't have the dogs. Mom's got the dogs with her. There's not a noise in there. And I hear them in the backyard. We hear them. We're going in.
Oh, my God.
I lock Jennifer's bedroom door. I'm laying in the bed smoking a joint. They kick in her door, and I blow smoke in Massey's face.
Because at that point,
I'm done.
They're done.
I'm done.
You're done.
Yeah.
So
and it's been 3 times in 5 months that I've been arrested. I'm not getting out. I'm done.
They cart you away. They put you on trial. Yes. They paint this picture.
They paint this picture. Mom's thrown out of the courtroom. I don't know if you ever knew that.
Oh, your mom was staring at Massey, you said.
Mom was staring at my girlfriend who was on the stand.
And this was
Jenna.
Okay.
So they throw her out of the courtroom. And then you can hear, it's in Bellflower. It's a preliminary trial in Bellflower. You can hear Mom in the hallway, and somebody walks by and says, "Oh, you're the drug dealer's mom." While the proceedings are going on, you can hear Mom yelling, "We're in America, and he's the alleged drug dealer. We're not in Russia."
You must have been like, "Yeah."
I was like, "That's my mom."
Because
Mom always had our back, no matter what.
She's in court with me, screaming, "That's George McFly, George Friedman's son, right there! God damn it!"
Yep, that's Mom.
But it didn't.
And then she sued them over them breaking in her house because they didn't have a search warrant.
What happened there? I never heard about that.
They broke the back door.
Yeah. Did they ever pay for it?
They had to.
Oh, good.
Everything they damaged, they paid for it because Mom sued them because they didn't have a search warrant to search her house. They had an arrest warrant for me.
And Mom just kept saying, "He's small time." Now she didn't know.
Well, she knew to an extent, but of course she's going to say it because there was one night. Roger Dole Rogers is still at the house.
Yeah.
And I come home. I had the front bedroom where we had together. Remember when I got moved to the back?
Yeah.
That's because the cops showed up about LSD.
Oh, for God's sake.
Because there was a broken window pane in the front room. This is when I was young.
Were you just passing it out the window?
Yes. I was selling Mickey Mouse
by the
crazy.
rose bushes.
By the rose bushes. This is when I was young, and this was before I had the plan. So then she says, "You're moving into the back." Because I come home frying on acid, and she's got my box open, and there's 2 pounds of weed and acid, geez. And it's 3 a.m, and I'm high, and she says, "Get it out of the house." And all I'm thinking is, I have to walk down the alley to Kim's friend, Teresa's house on
1 street back.
2 streets back.
To get the drugs
to her house. I got to go there, and I'm walking down the alley with all of this drugs high, and I'm like, the cops are going to show up.
Do you ever see The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah, I've seen it.
When he drives that car home,
yeah.
he goes, "I had no problem getting there." Then you see what really happened. It's got to be like, I imagine you're giving off
15, 16 years old.
You're giving off a Hunter S. Thompson vibe, ether is the perfect drug for Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I had to get down the alley towards Crawford's Market and turn
love
right.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I read that book several times.
Well, that's where Gonzo came from.
And I never, to fix this fallacy you have, I never dropped out of school.
You never dropped out of school?
I was kicked out.
You were kicked out?
My sophomore year.
There's a difference.
At the end, I was told on the last day of school by the vice principal, Mr. Estes, he handed me this form. Here's the California High School Proficiency Examination form. You're going to need this.
We don't want you back.
We don't want you back. The continuation school has heard all about you and they don't want you.
Oh, my God. Now, were you like, yeah.
I'm like, come home, Mom. I got something to tell you.
Gee, so you didn't drop out.
No, I didn't.
You were
I graduated. I took the test the next week. Mom arranged it. I graduated at 16.
There was no question,
I was going
Jim,
to school.
how smart you were.
I was going to school 2 and 3 days a week, pulling B's and C's, doing nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
The work was not. I heard you talking to Mr. Benton, and the work was not challenging.
Right.
I was like one of those kids that was lost because I was in the MGM. They took me out and took me to another school and all of this.
Now,
Schoolwork got to be monotonous.
Yeah, I'm not asking for any kind of sympathy for being smart, but when you're smart, you're held at bay by the dumbest kid in the class.
Right.
The teacher has to constantly deal with that kid, disrupting class, and that you can't progress forward because that kid's holding you back. And kids today, everybody's the same, but they really aren't.
No, they're not.
And that's the tough part.
Every kid learns different.
Exactly.
Every kid has a way of, what's the word I'm looking for? Processing.
Absorbing information.
Absorbing it and transcribing it in their mind. Everybody does it different.
So
that's what makes the world go round. We're all different.
The trial ends, and what's the result?
I took a plea bargain.
You took a plea bargain. See, I have no idea.
Oh, I didn't.
I was so disconnected from this.
I sat there after 9 months, and I didn't want people's lives affected anymore. I'd affected enough people, infected enough people, basically. And I looked at them. 7 years. I'd already been in a year, so 9 months, 10 months. I was going to get a year off, so I'd had to go do 3. I did 4 altogether.
4 altogether, of a sentence of 8.
It's a sentence of 7.
7, because in California, 1 for 1 is basically how it works.
Right. And then county time was 1 for 2. So every 2 days you got a day off.
Okay.
So I did almost 10 months, so I had a little over a year, and then I had almost 6 years to do in state penitentiary. And the halftime really doesn't start till you get to where you're finally going and have duties assigned to you where you have a job.
Okay. So I was talking about these trailers.
Yeah, the family visit.
Where Mom and Jennifer would go to these trailers.
Good time.
For the weekend.
Right.
Friday
till Sunday.
How bizarre is that?
It was...
I never went, so I don't know.
No, you were mad at me because of Massey, and I never knew Massey did that crap.
Terrified of
I would have never allowed that to happen.
Well, I appreciate
told
that.
Massey, like I told everybody, I got myself in this mess.
Yeah.
No one else did. This was my...
He was going to get you...
He was
and
out to
if people
get me.
got in the way, they were going to get it too. So I get that.
My best friend was the one leading the way.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like, how in the hell is he finding me everywhere I go?
Did you ever get a girlfriend to do that trailer thing?
No, you had to be married.
Oh, you had to
it was either family or you had to be married.
Okay, that's fascinating.
A mom could come visit a son, and a sister or sibling could come with a parent, but Jennifer couldn't have came alone.
Right, no.
Had to be mom or dad.
That's fascinating.
And my dad never wanted anything to do with me till I went to prison, then he comes up to visit me.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he did. And he was good to my kids when I got out.
And I remember we would make these big boxes of all this stuff and mail it up.
Yeah, I get packages every 90 days. And it had to be
fascinating.
off a list that they picked.
Now, the surprising part is that you met somebody.
Yes, I did.
And this turned you around.
It kept me on the straight and narrow.
This was the turnaround. I assume going, you had decided we're done.
When I got in there, I looked around after finally sobering up and getting sentenced and getting into the state system, which is so much better than L.A. County Jail.
Oh, sure.
Hell.
Yeah, no, we had a friend go to L.A. County Jail, and there aren't enough beds.
No.
And the guards just shrug and go, find a spot. We don't care.
SHIT.
Yeah, no. That's terrifying.
And it's
he would
way
call us
overpacked.
crying, saying, "You've got to figure how to get me out." I'm
There's
like, we have no
6 beds,
money.
6 beds in a cell and there's 8 people in it.
Yeah, what do you do? Ooh, terrifying.
Yeah.
But you met somebody,
I met somebody.
and when you get out, you get married.
Yeah, she's there with mom to pick me up.
That's amazing.
And that was a harrowing day because they didn't know they had to check in to get me. And 5 minutes before they're ready to take me to Fresno and put me on a Greyhound, they finally say, someone's here to pick you up.
You know, we hear a lot of that about it's all just paperwork, and sometimes the innocent guy gets sent somewhere else, and the convicted guy goes, here's your stuff, hit the road. And they go, see you later.
Exactly.
Because there's no personable, it's just numbers.
I remember giving the cops a hard time, the prison guards a hard time when I was leaving, and I'm like, I'm out of here and I ain't coming back.
Yeah,
Guess what? You'll be here tomorrow. Who's institutionalized, baby? They didn't like me, but
oh, that's funny. I never even thought about that.
You're going to be here tomorrow and you're talking just like the convicts. What's really happening in your life?
Terrifying.
Yeah.
So you got out.
It was an eye-opening experience.
Oh, I can imagine. You should write a book.
I've debated writing several books.
You should write a book.
I'm going to sit down eventually.
Help you publish it.
I have a book on baseball to write, and I can tell some stories.
Oh, yeah, because long story endless on that, you got out.
Right.
You got married.
Right.
I was there for the wedding. And you got really wrapped up in the Angels.
I was an Angel fan growing up.
But like uber wrapped up.
Uber wrapped up because I wanted to play baseball professionally as a kid. I was on PJ's handlebars one night doing about 30 on this 10-speed, and my foot went into the spokes. And that was the end of my baseball
That's the end.
career. Mom had it set up where I could go to USC on a scholarship to play baseball. And I screwed that off.
Well, you know, life happens, man.
I know, but in the long run, I got to hold the World Series trophy the night the Angels won it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It was,
So,
roundabout way of the Lord Almighty, whatever you want to call him, or whatever people's beliefs are, I got to hold the trophy. I got to the point I wanted to get as a kid another way.
I know I held the Stanley Cup, and people are like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I'm just here at work, and then Stanley Cup's here. I have no idea. People are touching and crying.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, there's the Stanley Cup.
I was down in the clubhouse the night they poured champagne all over him. Afterwards, I went to help clear out Ramon Ortiz's locker, and they had a camera set up. I got my picture. I got champagne poured on me. The whole thing.
So what you do now is fascinating.
What I do now is nerve-wracking.
You're an eBay guy like me.
Right.
But you're Uber eBay, because that's all you do.
Full-time eBay.
And you go around to any kind of celebrity signing, and you get them to sign stuff that you then sell.
Yeah, your kids can blame me for standing in line for Stan Lee.
Oh, they were... Did you hear that audio?
Yes.
They were miserable. Oh, my God.
They should have been there with me. I was there at 3 a.m.
No, they're not going to get up at 3 a.m.
And I slip out on the street.
It has to be something they want, and Stan Lee... They've already met Stan Lee, so...
But that's money.
So you go around, and there's this whole... there's not just one of you.
There's a group of...
There's a big group of these guys.
They've called... The ones I deal with, which is more books than anything, they've coined the term and called us the book mafia.
The book mafia. Because you're there at every signing, doesn't matter who it is.
I'll be at Rob Liefeld tomorrow.
If it's somebody of merit who's written a book, you're getting it signed, because a signed book sells for about $23, and depending on who it is... Boom.
Yeah.
$300.
Yeah, and if I buy my books in advance off of Amazon, I'm getting it for $16, $17.
Even cheaper.
And it's covering my gas to go to this event. The $10 I save per book. Then my tank of gas is free.
Who's the most elusive signature?
Author-wise, Stephen King.
Really?
Yeah.
He doesn't sign?
He doesn't come out here. He's an East Coast guy.
Yeah,
James Patterson comes out here more than Stephen King, and he doesn't come out very often. But his books don't sell for the money Stephen King's books sell.
No, King's books are part of pop culture.
Right.
Patterson's too, to some degree,
Dean
but
Koontz
not.
is a better writer, but he never had the Hollywood luck.
Oh, Dean Koontz's movie luck has been the worst.
Exactly.
They finally made a good movie.
And then the producers sue each other, and it's not publicly released.
And the star dies.
Right.
Talking about Odd Thomas.
Yeah, Odd Thomas was...
Which was really good.
He was at WonderCon ready to promote it. Ugh. He ended up still going to WonderCon, but he didn't talk about the movie
he's had...
because... Yeah. He says he's done with Halloween.
Why won't they make Lightning? I'll make it. Give me the rights. Lightning's a time travel love story that is just amazing.
On the par of Richard Matheson's time travel.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's a time travel story where
dreams may come.
bad guys get killed and then they come back because it's happening before they got killed. It's really good. Dean
Koontz got to start in science fiction before he ever did the horror or the thriller.
Well, but most of his horror and thrillers always have some sort of scientific explanation.
Right.
So
The Watchers.
What's the most profitable single piece you've dealt with, signed? Because we're also talking about, you've taught me this thing, you go to thrift stores, you go to the biography section or the political or the sports section, you check all the books because odds are one or two of them are signed. And I said to you, this is absurd. People don't get rid of signed books. And every time I go, I find a signed book. I am shocked at how many I have found.
I've made a living at it.
That's unbelievable.
The guy that created our rocket in the space race. I can't think of his name right now. I found a book signed by him that I sold for $600.
That's unbelievable.
I paid $2 for the book at Savers.
I sold the Buzz Aldrin one just the other day, Yeah. Like, it's amazing how you'd think that would be an heirloom, but it slips through.
Nixon's memoirs signed by Nixon at a thrift store for 50 cents.
50 cents. Nixon.
I just found one at Cypress Swap Meet for $2. The limited edition Nixon signed.
That's amazing.
I find them all the time.
I found one that I can't get rid of. Dan Quayle.
I've sold Dan Quayle, but you're going to get $16 for it.
Nobody wants the Dan Quayle signed book.
Vice presidential memoirs don't do like the presidents. Barack Obama, before president, he was at S1 Books signing his book.
Yeah.
I did a killing. Went and got 10 books done, not knowing he was going to throw his hat in the presidential ring and win.
Well, you told me about that Black Friday thing where Barnes & Noble got all those signed books, and I went and bought a stack, and I was shocked at how quickly, like, that Hillary Clinton book and the Neil Gaiman book.
Neil Gaiman, American God, 10th anniversary. Yeah. Look, it's on TV now.
I wish I'd kept it. Now it'd be worth triple.
Yeah, I have true first editions signed that are $300 and $400.
What's the most valuable book unsigned that you have?
Carrie first edition.
Carrie first. We were just talking about
first.
that.
Not the book club.
A true Carrie, Stephen King's first novel.
With the original dust jacket, unpriced, clipped, in very nice condition. I bought it for $3. I sold it for $2,500.
Wow.
Not signed.
That's amazing. Yeah. If it was signed,
I would have added $2,000 or $3,000 to it.
It would have.
Yeah.
It doesn't detract. On a book like that.
No, it's not like
comic books,
comics and baseball cards back in the day. Well, now everything's changed because of these grading companies.
Yeah. But there's debate whether the signature enhances the item or
for years the Mickey Mantle rookie card with a signature was worth 1/10 of what it was without.
Right. That's had to have changed.
To an extent, yeah, because PSA will say this is a genuine article and so on, but I just don't like the grading.
Yeah, it's a lot of trouble to go through.
Well, for someone like me to take 10,000 items and I'd go broke.
Right, yeah.
I get people, well, how do you know it's real? Well, I watched the guy sign it. Come on.
Yeah, oh yeah.
How do I know it's
somebody
real?
asked me about that with the Stan Lee one, and I said, I spent 6 hours in line, sir. Okay? I'm not fooling you. And it wasn't. I wasn't even asking that much for it, which is what really bothered me. It wasn't like I was asking $1,200 and like take a leap. No, it's a $60 comic, man. Relax.
But see, that's cheap because he's charging $130 a pop now. So you're giving someone a deal. They should have snapped it up. Yeah, people want something for nothing.
Yeah, yeah. eBay is a battlefield. It's some days are great, and some days you just want to kill people. And a lot of people offer me.
You can't let it get to you.
Well, they offer me. I put a lot of items on with free shipping because free shipping just really turns people on. That's how you sell stuff. But they want to offer you $3,
and then
I go
pay $3 to ship.
I go.
Up to 4
do you want me to gift wrap it for you because this is free? You have to factor in the shipping, even though it says free shipping.
Exactly.
And I've dealt with some people that I'm confident have got some sort of corporate account somewhere that they're just feeding these in to sell it to me at whatever price or the shipping doesn't factor in.
The Chinese shipping, which I hate.
How do they get away?
They can ship stuff to us for 20 cents.
Why does it cost
Up
so
to 10
much?
pounds.
Why does it cost so much the other way?
I have no idea, but it's gone steadily up and up and up. When I first got into this, I could ship a book flat rate envelope internationally worldwide for $16. Now it's $32 for the flat rate envelope, so it's cheaper to go first class. Up to 2 pounds is $21.
So a typical week for you, how many events do you go to for signings?
Lately, because I've been so wrapped up in eBay, it hasn't been like that. But before, I was doing 3 and 4 events a week. Tomorrow, I'm doing 2 events.
2 tomorrow.
Michael McMillan, who was on True Blood, is at Golden Apple at noon. And Rob Liefeld, with the release of the graphic novel for Deadpool, is at the Grove at 7. But I'll go early, get my wristband, run to Golden Apple. I have True Blood graphic novel signed by Charlene Harris and 3 other stars from the show. I'll add value to the book.
Because I tried to keep up with you one time at Comic-Con, and I couldn't do it. You run from signing to signing to signing, from line to line to line.
And everybody thinks I sit home and do nothing.
No. This is
a lot of work.
This is a hustle of the highest degree.
And it to me, it's to go back in time. It's like hustling drugs, and it's legal.
It's all legit.
I can't get arrested.
Yeah,
I can't go to jail.
And you know what?
Pushing a signed comic on a kid.
I'll be honest with you. There is a rush getting that elusive item.
Exactly.
No, and here's the thing. I'm a collector, but I know the difference between, I got something fun to collect versus I just made $100 in a second. For whatever the item is going to cost me versus what I know I'm going to get for it.
No.
And I always say, hey, look, I'm the one doing the legwork. You got to pay for that.
5 or 6 years ago, before the toy market got killed at Comic-Con, you could spend $2,000-$3,000 in 5 days and make 20.
Yeah, they killed all that, though.
And it got killed.
They
larger packaging,
overproduced and larger packaging.
And that way people are giving away stuff for free shipping and not realizing it's going to cost what you just made in your shipping.
Yeah.
I never did.
They do it on purpose.
Shipping. I know they did.
Hasbro, man.
There was a time where I'd be in Mattel and I'd get so many toys. The Monster High dolls I was buying for $30 and I was getting $150, $200, and they were all going to Japan.
Yeah.
And I'd buy 5 a day for 5 days, and
that's immediate turnaround.
Immediate. It was selling before the convention ended. I'd have everything sold, and I'd have all this money to buy other stuff on the floor with. Luke Chu, I bought this wooden print for $40. I sold it for $400 the next day.
The money's out there.
Yeah,
I always tell people, you just have to know how to hustle,
right.
And you can't get starstruck. You just have to keep going. Is there anybody you've seen that you're like, oh my God?
Debbie Gibson.
Debbie Gibson? That's really?
I was befuddled and starstruck in Hollywood when she was there signing her Naked single and her Playboy issue.
Debbie Gibson.
That's
funny.
Yeah.
I met Debbie Gibson in 88 at Hollywood Squares.
Speak.
With Debbie Gibson?
Yeah, I had a crush on her.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she was a good-looking lady.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody I've been... I can't speak.
You name it, I've met him.
Yeah, you've met him. Guillermo del Toro, multiple times.
The guy, good friends.
Good friends.
He'll sign anything I got. He stopped at Comic-Con and created the scene.
I like you, my friend.
What did you bring? What did you bring for me?
What have you brought for
me,
Jimmy?
And he's standing there, and the security guards are trying to escort him out the back, and he comes to the front of the IDW booth and just stops and talking to me and my wife and signing everything.
You've met... The Eastman and Laird, the Turtle guys,
yes.
The
Kevin
Metallica guys.
I'm commissioning a piece from Kevin.
You're commissioning a piece from him.
He's going to do me a one of a kind. I'm not going to tell because I don't know when to go ask what I'm asking for because he said no one's ever asked for this. So he's going to do a 16 by 20 canvas, one of a kind piece for me.
What's that going to cost? Are you allowed to say?
$250.
That's not too bad. For a piece of art?
What I'm getting?
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. He did one at WonderCon this year for $20 on a 12 by 12 canvas. He did Shredder with multiple colors and.
How come you didn't do the Springsteen line with me?
By the time I got there, because I was going with a friend, when I got a call, I know not to go.
You wouldn't have got a wristband.
I wouldn't have gotten in because this guy was taking too long to go.
Yeah.
And I was trying to help a friend out, so I got screwed because I saw Springsteen like 6 times in 2 years at one point.
I got the Springsteen at 3 a.m. And by the time I got there at 3 a.m., if I hadn't had somebody in the know, I wouldn't have got a wristband. Right. The line was too long.
I was going at 9 o'clock at night, and the line was too long.
Yeah, it was too long. That was 6 hours later.
But I spent the night for Sylvester Stallone.
Stallone?
Yeah.
Who else?
Spent the night for Kiss at Golden Apple for the Kiss Meets Archie comic. $3.99 comic. Paul and Gene were there signing them. I could get 2 of each cover, and I was getting $300 a comic. So I bought 8. They signed
But
out
hey,
8.
people are paying for the privilege.
Well, yeah, and I put the time in.
You
It's
put the
not like
time
I
in the
just-
line. No, I get it.
I was there at 10 o'clock at night the night before, in the middle of winter, and then I did the Jonas Brothers at Disneyland. You want
Yeah.
to talk about madness?
No thanks.
You know, the old security, downtown Disney, this was so bad, literally. I picked up my feet off the ground, and the crowd carried. No lie.
For the Jonas Brothers.
But I knew what I was going to make.
Yeah.
And I know how to work a line, so we got into the part where you come out. Disney could have handled it better and handed out the wristbands way sooner, but I was in the group that got the wristband, guaranteed you in. You still had to pay to get in the park. I have an annual pass. We went into California Adventure, bought the books, 2 per person. I had me and my wife, so I got 4 books at 20% off. And I was
Got to get the
getting
discount.
$400 a book, and I spent $60 total on 4 books.
Nice.
So
That's what it's all
It was a-
about.
it was a
'Cause, you know,
payday.
I've had people email me and give me grief about my Comic-Con stuff. And I always write them back and go, you've never been. You have no idea. The fact that I have anything from Comic-Con is a miracle. So you either buy it or not. And if you don't buy it, by the time we have this conversation, somebody else is going to buy it. So get off my lawn, kid.
some of those vinyl, not the vinyl pop Funko,
No.
but the
Urban
designer vinyl.
Yeah, designer vinyl.
You can make a killing on that.
Yeah, well,
Paul Kaiju.
I listened to you a couple of times and got stuck with stuff for a while.
But that was WonderCon. That wasn't Comic
Yeah,
Con.
no, Wonder. You're right.
It's a different
market.
different market, different market,
stuff. Yeah.
different exclusives. But some of that Paul Kaiju stuff, you have to enter a drawing just to win it. And if he catches you selling it, he's on you. But if you hold on to it for 3 and 4 years,
Yeah.
your $180 will make you about $2,000.
Well, you were telling me a really funny story that somebody at one of the cons likes to look at the name on the badge and then immediately personalize it to you.
Yeah.
Because personalized stuff is not worth much.
No.
You want a fresh, crisp signature only, or maybe signed and lined, which is
A tagline from something in his
project.
career or the project or the book.
right.
Yeah, there's books that I get tagline that are normally $100 that I sell for $500.
And do you remember who that was?
Deborah Harkness,
Who's that?
Discovery of Witches. It's going to be either a TV show or a movie.
Oh,
They
that
haven't
you-
decided.
that
She's
you-
a USC professor, and she's written a trilogy.
Okay.
And the first one, she'll even tell people, I don't personalize these books anymore. And she writes, it all began with the discovery of witches.
Nice.
400 or
Well,
500
who is it that looks for the name? There was somebody really big you were telling me. I would say Clive Barker, maybe?
No, Clive, I know Clive. So
It's not Neil
when I
Gaiman?
see, Neil Gaiman has been doing that lately, and he's cut way down, and George R.R. Martin's been doing that. Now he's down to 1 extra book per person.
Do you ever just want to lean into George R.R. Martin and say, don't you have work to do?
He doesn't even do the books anymore for the series. The books are going to finish totally different than the TV show. He couldn't keep up with HBO.
That's unbelievable. Just write the books, man.
He takes too long. You know
You're-
who's really good and who's hilarious is Chuck Palahniuk.
Oh, dude, Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to meet him.
And he taglines books. It's big money.
Have you ever read, it's a short story about the guy who gets stuck in the pool ventilation?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Palahniuk, I got him. He goes to Dark Delicacies all the time, and I got him at Comic-Con and said, "You haven't been to Dark Del in a while." So he ended up coming down there later that year, and the only sit-down signing he did for the book that time around, because every other place it was he'd talk and the books were pre-signed. That's what you got.
Right.
But he sat down. Well, he doesn't sit. He stands and took pictures with everybody and signed like 30 books that I took.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where I think he's shocked at how big
And
Fight Club became. He's
Gay
real down to
man.
earth.
He's a gay man.
Yeah.
And he likes to mess with the fans. So at one of the signings I went to, he had, if you wanted a picture with him, he'd make the guys get in drag.
Oh, that's great. Well, the greatest thing about Fight Club, and I'm a big Fight Club fan, is anybody who gets all macho, you go, You know, it was written by a gay guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the ultimate evener.
That's why he loves it.
Oh yeah, good for him, man. And I always go to Fight Club for the length of the book. It's about 207, 208 pages, and if I could hit that, I'm at Fight Club length. So if Fight Club can be as good as that at that length, I should be able to. You ever had J.K. Rowling signed?
I've met her. I sold those for good money.
I was gonna say, what's a line like that like?
She was at Whale of a Tale in Irvine. It was 3,000 people.
I have no idea.
It was a kids' bookstore. They've since moved to another location, but they were right by UC Irvine.
Because I know she's good with fans.
Yeah, she was good, and she took her time. And Jamie Lee Curtis was really good.
I'd like to meet Jamie Lee Curtis.
She was really nice. And I had the Fog movie poster.
Yeah.
Normally, when she's doing kids' books, she wouldn't do it, but I had it folded just right, and she was in a good mood that day. She whipped it out. Let me see this. Oh, this is the original. The poster alone was like $200, and her and John Carpenter have since signed it.
Nice. The thing that I always go back to is when I was young, when I was a teenager, I was really into, I read books, I loved movies, genre stuff, all that kind of stuff. And now to move in the circles where, with Comic-Con and the book signings that I go to, I've met all these people. It's truly amazing that if you find the right avenues, these people are out there. They're accessible.
And they're very accessible. Like Dean Koontz, I'm so blessed with him. There's a friend of mine that owns a bookstore, and Dean just tells her, have him bring his books here, and I'll sign them all.
Yeah, no, you did that for me for a friend of mine.
And he's my favorite author. Me and him, I was awestruck the first time around. You ruined me with Watchers. He goes, you don't know how many times I've heard that.
I love Dean Koontz.
The book was
books.
amazing.
In Lightning, they go to the Shakey's Pizza on Harbor Boulevard to buy guns.
Right. Yeah, everything. We grew up with Dean Koontz out here in writing Orange County.
So whenever I go there, we just went there a couple weeks ago. I'm like, this is from the book, and like people go, "What are you talking about?" I go, "You wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand."
Just like Michael Connolly.
Yeah, he writes
stuff.
local too, right?
And Book Carnival in Orange, Echo Park, the book, the killer in the story comes in the back door of the store to kill the book owner.
Nice.
And Bosch shows up, and the killer sneaks out the back, and the bookstore owner survives.
That's funny. We're watching A Scanner Darkly right now, and it takes place all in Anaheim, all in the streets. It's really bizarre. Right?
Bosch on Amazon, the third season,
Yeah.
the second episode, Amoeba Music. He's in there in the
really?
jazz section.
Oh, that's
he's
funny.
a big jazz guy, so yeah.
Austin was talking about how much he enjoyed the Springsteen line.
Oh, no, I don't want to talk about that. No.
All right, Jim, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank you for coming on the show,
thank you.
for being
And
so candid. That's a rare thing these days. Everybody's really guarded.
Why? What's the point? Oh, I don't care what people think about me.
Yeah, I don't care. I do a
but
show like this. Of course I
care.
don't.
Mom took all that away.
She beat it out of you.
Yeah, she did. And I'm loud and obnoxious because of your drama teacher. Maggie Regalado. She taught us to what? Project your voice.
That's right. So let's give us let's run them.
Let's run them.
And a hey, Dick.
Hey, Dick.
Oh, my God. That's so... Hey, Dick. People have come up to
How
me...
about a bird? Jeffrey! Jeffrey! God damn it. Just take out the trash.
Why don't you do it for your mother? God damn it. Berg, don't use a GD word. No, I said God.
And it's funny that he said you were gay because your nickname was Jeff Tucker the Butt.
Yeah.
In high school.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I had a fantastic high school career. Just amazing. Just nothing.
Well, how did you walk in my footsteps? Because I was a living nightmare legend there for a while.
Oh, because
they hated me.
Because
they loved me.
Because I was tiny, and I didn't cause any trouble. And I don't think until sophomore year, and that would have been third year, 8, 9 before you get to 10. I don't think anybody even knew I went there until sophomore year.
Because when I was there, my freshman year, remember Ozzy Osbourne, Randy Rhoads, the guitar player that died?
Okay.
He was in Quiet Riot. They used to play at our lunchtime. We'd have concerts in the middle of
There were no concerts when I went there. They didn't even allow radios on
I'm
campus.
watching Randy Rhoads at 13 years old jam on a guitar.
Here's the crazy thing about growing up in the 80s. Radios and Walkmans were not allowed on campus.
Because I used to take a 8-track portable to school. and they banned them.
They banned it.
Because of me.
But you know what I did take to school? My fully functional Freddy Krueger glove that I made at home
I remember
with
you
steak
making that.
knives.
I remember you making
Nobody had a problem. Think about
But you
that,
can't
folks.
listen to music.
No.
Music
That's
is
the devil's
evil.
way.
Music
I
is
know what I want to
evil.
talk to. Before we leave, before we finish.
Okay.
The Devil Church.
Oh, it was a real place. We tried to blow it up and get in it.
So what people don't understand is they have a freeway out here called the 105,
Right.
the Century Freeway.
The cop's nickname, because I have a friend that's a Norwalk sheriff, it's the 187 freeway.
Okay, because people die on it?
No, because they commit the murders and everything in Compton and so on, and they jump on the thing and end up in Norwalk.
Okay, all right. So this freeway cut in half how long it takes to get to the airport. That's why it was built.
It took years to get built.
But here's the thing.
Speed.
But here's the thing. They cleared out entire neighborhoods where the freeway was going to go. But they cleared the houses out, or the people out, but they didn't start building the freeway for like 10 years later.
15.
So it was called the Century Freeway. This is back in 78, 79, because we figured
We had a party tree.
the century before it gets built.
Behind PJ's house was this big weeping willow with the branches to the ground, and we'd pull in a Pinot, douse the lights, and sit under this tree and party all night.
'Cause
never get harassed.
It's an entire neighborhood.
It was
neighborhoods.
on both sides of the 605,
With
three
no-
streets deep, with no houses, just empty streets. But there was this church.
But there were houses for a while.
Right, there was houses sporadically.
They did public domain,
Right.
eminent domain, and kicked everybody out. So the movie Suburbia was filmed there
Right.
because they did skateboarding all around, and it was like another world because you could go over there. We were told not to, but you could go over there and there's nobody.
I walk through it every night.
Whole neighborhoods empty. Of course, there's going to be trouble, but right smack in the middle of it, there's this church.
And I swear it was a devil.
Everybody
worshiping
says,
church.
you know why? Because when they excavated it, they found bones. Yes,
bones.
lots,
Not just bones, but lots.
But they
bones.
said, "Oh no, it's chickens. We did chickens or something," and we're like, "That's not even a good
I heard
excuse."
cats, dogs, pigs. They
Humans.
were sacrificing all kinds of animals, and human bones were found.
So the church was deemed
The
devil
church.
church.
Yeah.
And when people talked about it, the older people would go, "Oh yeah." People in robes would
and
chant.
beards,
Yes.
and the black head coverings. Yeah, they had these funky. We tried to blow in the door one time. We tied 3 M80s to the door, PJ and I,
to try to get in.
to try to get in one night
To prove.
to prove we were gonna bust it wide open.
They didn't make it.
No, the door didn't even.
Man,
it didn't even blow the
devil
door.
church, man.
It was like the devil was to us. The devil protected that door from us. That's what we said. We got to get the heck out of here.
That's
man.
proof now.
They're coming to get us.
Get out, because they're going to
Yeah.
go, Soledad.
I remember that movie.
What, the Devil's Reign?
No, they were in a motorhome.
They're in a motorhome.
I went to see it with Jerry at the drive-in.
Okay.
And his family. I forget. You have to Google.
I'll find it.
And
Family's in a mobile home, and what happens?
they're going through this town, and the devil worshippers are after them.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of it. I
Like
had
how-
it
like-
about a year ago.
Like 10,000 Maniacs or
It's
something?
even worse.
Even worse.
Because the cops are part of it. They go to the cops, and then they're parked, and then all these people show up.
Somebody's
and they're trying to
yelling
get-
at the speaker right now what it is.
Right.
But yeah, this devil church fascinated every kid in the neighborhood. Because we were
for
convinced.
generations.
Yes. Years.
Before me, to your generation, to our sisters, everybody
The
was
devil
fascinated.
church, man.
And it didn't come down till they built the freeway.
Right. And this is
Because now there's a parking lot there.
it was in the same neighborhood as, remember the Jewish cemetery?
Yeah.
Where everybody was in concrete?
Right.
So you'd pedal your bike past the Jewish cemetery where everybody's in concrete, and that's freaky enough. And then you get to the devil church where you're like, we're all going to die.
But see, you didn't get to experience it like I did, going to Donna's house all the time. Hi.
Same neighborhood.
I drove through over to her house because she lived at the off-ramp at Imperial.
So you're going to the devil church high? Are you crazy?
I'm going by it high every night. I'm coming back home
No.
every night from Donna's house.
I imagine like Night on Bald Mountain.
and
like,
they had the
"Whoa."
Pinkertons. Security used to patrol the area. That's why we thought they're paying the security group
yeah.
to keep us out of this devil church.
The
and
devil
there's bones
church.
everywhere.
And this is not a joke, folks.
This is true to life.
Because guess what?
True as the serial killers.
I found a full article about the Devil Church.
You did.
Online. So I'm going to put it in the show notes how to click to it. The Devil Church is real.
Yeah, it was real.
Okay. I want to thank my brother Jim for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Very exciting and
Thank
candid.
you, Maggie Regalado.
I'd like to get Maggie on the show.
Dude.
She has some stories.
Yeah. Cast parties.
Oh, I bet.
I was buying alcohol for everybody at 14 years old. I had a full beard. I never got carded in my life. And I didn't drink.
What are you doing?
Stuff. I was buying it for my friends. They'd give me the money. I'd go into McCoy's Market, fill up the shopping cart with Blow-and-Brow. Maggie's house was right down the street. Pop it right there, and we'd have a cast party for
McCoy's Market was this place where they had a full grocery store, but then connected to it was a full liquor store with its own counter.
Right.
So you could buy all the liquor without having to deal with the shopping. Right. It's very strange. Very strange
and they had
setup.
Pinball machines there.
Pinball machines and eventually arcade machines.
The greatest pinball place was Circus Pizza.
Oh, I love Circus Pizza, man. I've done episodes about Circus Pizza.
I lived there.
Good time. I can smell it. Yeah. It's in my brain already.
Pizza in the brick oven.
Big oven, yeah. Good times. Yeah. All right, anything you want to plug on the show? You want to plug your eBay store?
More Stuff Sold. Look it up.
More Stuff Sold.
All one word.
Go to eBay and put that in.
Bookmark it, and there's always new stuff up there.
More Stuff Sold.
Over 10,000 listings as we speak.
And we've talked about it. What happens if you forget where something is when you sell it?
I frantically search for it.
Yeah, we've all been there. All right, you want to end the show? The show is called what? You want to do it big?
Let's do it big.
You do it.
91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening?